What would you do if you found something in your bedroom that could destroy everything you've ever built? Marcus Chin stood in the hallway of his giant mansion, staring at his bedroom door. His hand shook as he reached for the handle. Something was very wrong. He could feel it in his bones. Marcus was the richest man in the city. He owned 50 buildings, 20 restaurants, and had more money than he could count. But tonight, none of that mattered. Tonight, he was scared. It started 3 weeks ago. Marcus began hearing strange sounds at night. Soft footsteps. Whispers. Sometimes he would wake up and feel like someone had been watching him sleep. He told himself it was just his imagination. Rich people don't get scared of noises, right? But the sounds got louder. The whispers became clearer. And last night, he heard something that made his heart stop. Someone was singing. A sweet, sad song that he knew from long ago. A song his mother used to sing before she died. Marcus lived alone in his enormous house. He had guards at every gate, cameras on every wall. No one could get inside without him knowing. Yet someone was in his home. Someone was in his bedroom. He pushed open the door slowly. The room was dark except for moonlight coming through the window. Everything looked normal at first. His big bed with silk sheets. His expensive paintings on the walls. His golden watch on the nightstand. Then he saw it. In the corner of his room, near the window, was a small nest made of blankets and pillows. And in that nest sat a little girl. She couldn't be more than 7 years old. She had tangled brown hair and wore dirty clothes that were too big for her. She was eating crackers from a box she must have stolen from his kitchen. When she saw Marcus, she didn't run. She didn't scream. She just looked at him with big, tired eyes and said, "Please don't send me away." Marcus felt like his brain had stopped working. How did a child get into his house? How long had she been living in his bedroom? Why hadn't his security caught her? "Who are you?" Marcus asked, trying to keep his voice calm even though his heart was beating like a drum. "My name is Ruby," the girl said quietly. "I've been living here for 3 weeks. I'm really good at hiding. I only come out when you're asleep." 3 weeks. Marcus couldn't believe it. How is that possible? Ruby looked down at her crackers. "I'm small. I can fit in places grown-ups don't look. Behind the curtains. Under the bed. Inside the big closet. I was really careful." Marcus should have been angry. He should have called security right away. But something stopped him. Maybe it was the way Ruby looked at him. Like she expected him to hurt her, but was hoping he wouldn't. "Why are you here?" Marcus asked, sitting down on his bed, keeping his distance so he wouldn't scare her. "Where are your parents?" Ruby's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't let them fall. "I don't have parents anymore. My mom died last year. I lived with my aunt after that, but she didn't want me. She said I cost too much money. She left me at a bus station 3 weeks ago and never came back." Marcus felt something twist in his chest. He knew what it was like to lose a mother. His own mother had died when he was young. But he had money. He had people who took care of him. Ruby had nothing. "I saw your house on TV once," Ruby continued. "They said you were the richest man in the city. I thought maybe you had extra food. Maybe you wouldn't notice if a little bit went missing. I didn't mean to steal. I was just so hungry." "How did you get past my security?" Marcus asked. Ruby smiled a tiny bit. "There's a tree outside. One branch touches your window. The lock on this window is broken. I climbed up 3 weeks ago, and I've been here ever since."
"I'm sorry."
"I know it was wrong." Marcus stood up and walked to the window. Sure enough, when he checked the lock, it was broken. He had never noticed. He had so many windows, so many rooms. This mansion was so big that a little girl could live in it for weeks without anyone knowing. He turned back to look at Ruby. She was watching him carefully, ready to run if he made any sudden moves. In that moment, Marcus saw himself. Not the rich, powerful man he had become, but the scared little boy he used to be. The boy who lost his mother and felt alone in a world that didn't care. "Are you going to call the police?" Ruby asked, her voice small and afraid. Marcus took a deep breath. He should call someone. Child services. The police. Someone who knew how to handle situations like this. But when he opened his mouth, different words came out. Are you hungry? Really hungry, I mean. Not just crackers. Ruby nodded slowly, not sure if this was a trick. Then let's go to the kitchen. We'll figure out the rest later. As Ruby slowly climbed out of her nest of blankets, Marcus noticed something that made his blood run cold. Sticking out of her small backpack was a photograph. And in that photograph, he saw a face he recognized. A face from his past. A face that changed everything. But before he could say anything, they both heard it. A loud bang from downstairs. Then voices. Angry voices. Someone else was in the house, and they weren't here to talk. Marcus grabbed Ruby's hand. "Stay quiet and stay close to me," he whispered. They crept to the bedroom door, and Marcus peeked out into the hallway. He could hear heavy footsteps coming up the stairs. More than one person. His security system should have caught this. Why weren't his guards responding? "Where are they?" A rough voice shouted from below. "We know the girl is here. We tracked her to this house." Ruby squeezed Marcus's hand so tight it hurt. She was shaking all over. "It's them," she whispered, her voice full of fear. "They found me." "Who found you?" Marcus asked quietly. "The bad men. The ones who want what my mother left me." Marcus's mind was racing. What could a poor woman leave her daughter that bad men would want? And why would they break into his house to get it? None of this made sense. "Marcus Chen," the rough voice called out. "We don't want to hurt you. Just give us the girl, and we'll leave. This doesn't concern you." But it did concern him now. Marcus didn't know why, but the moment he saw Ruby sitting in that nest of blankets, something changed inside him. She reminded him of himself. Alone. Scared. Needing someone to care. "The closet," Marcus whispered to Ruby. "Hide in there. No matter what happens, don't come out until I tell you it's safe." "But what about you?" Ruby asked, tears rolling down her cheeks. "I'll be fine. I promise. Now go." Ruby ran to the closet and disappeared inside. Marcus took a deep breath and stepped into the hallway. 3 large men in black clothes stood at the top of the stairs. One of them had a gun. "Where is she?" the man with the gun asked. His face was covered with scars, and his eyes were cold. "There's no girl here," Marcus said, trying to sound braver than he felt. "You've made a mistake. Leave now, and I won't call the police." The scarred man laughed. It was not a nice laugh. "Your security guards are taking a little nap right now. And we cut your phone lines. No one is coming to help you, rich man. Now tell us where Ruby is, or things will get very unpleasant." Marcus's heart pounded. He had faced tough business deals before. He had won against powerful enemies. But he had never had a gun pointed at him. Still, he wouldn't give Ruby up. Something inside him wouldn't let him. "I don't know what you're talking about. If you found something in your bedroom that could destroy
The
everything
scarred
you've
man
ever
nodded
built."
to the other 2 men.
Marcus Chen stood in the
Search
hallway
every
of
room.
his giant mansion,
Find her.
staring at his
As the
bedroom
men
door.
started toward the
His
bedroom,
hand shook
Marcus
as he
stepped
reached
to
the
the
front of the
handle.
door. Something
You're
was
not
going
very
in there.
wrong.
He
The
could
scarred
feel it
man
in his
walked
bones.
closer until the gun was
Marcus
inches
was the
from
richest
Marcus's
man in the
chest.
city.
Move,
He owned 50
or I'll
buildings,
move you.
20
Before
restaurants,
Marcus
and
could
had more
respond,
money
a
than
new
he
voice
could count.
called out from downstairs.
But tonight,
"Stop right
none
there."
of that mattered. Everyone
Tonight,
turned.
he was scared.
A woman
It
stood
started
at the
3
bottom of the
weeks ago.
stairs. Marcus
She was
began
tall
hearing
and
strange
wore a
sounds
long
at night.
coat.
Soft
Her hair was
footsteps,
silver,
whispers.
even though she didn't look old.
Sometimes he would
Something
wake up
about her face
and feel
seemed
like someone
familiar
had
to
been
Marcus.
watching him sleep, but
He
told
couldn't place
himself
it.
it was
"Who
just
are
his
you?"
imagination.
the scarred man demanded.
"Rich people don't
"My
get
name
scared
is
of
Diana
noises,
Hart."
right?"
The
But
woman
sounds
said
got
calmly.
louder. And
"The
"You're
whispers
making a
became
terrible
clearer.
mistake." And last
The
night,
scarred man
he
laughed
heard
again.
something that made his
"Another
heart
hero?"
stop. This
Someone
house
was
is full of
singing.
them tonight. A sweet,
"I'm not a hero,"
sad song that
Diana
he knew
said,
from long ago.
walking up the stairs
A song his
slowly.
mother used to
"I'm
sing
Ruby's
before she
grandmother.
died. And
I'm
Marcus
here to
lived
take her
alone
home."
in his enormous
Marcus
house.
felt confused.
He had guards at
Ruby's
every
grandmother?
gate. Ruby
Cameras
said
on
she had
every
no
wall.
family left.
"No one
The
could
girl
get
belongs
inside
to us now,
without him knowing,"
the scarred man
Yet
said.
someone was in his
Her mother
home.
stole something
Someone
very
was in his
valuable,
bedroom,
and we're taking
he
it
pushed
back.
open the door slowly.
Diana's eyes
The room
went
was dark
cold.
except for
My daughter
moonlight
didn't
coming
steal
through the
anything.
window.
Everything
She
looked
discovered
normal
it,
at first.
and she died
His big
protecting
bed
that
with
secret.
silk sheets.
You won't get
His
your hands on
expensive
it.
paintings on
Then
the walls.
I guess we'll have to go
His
through you
golden
too,
watch on the
the
nightstand.
scarred man said.
Then he saw it,
raising his gun.
in the corner of his
Everything
room,
happened
near the
very
window,
fast after that.
was a small nest
Diana
made
moved
of
like
blankets
lightning.
and pillows.
Faster
And
than
in that
Marcus
nest
thought
sat a
possible.
little girl. She knocked
She
the gun
couldn't be
from
more
the
than
scarred
7
man's
years
hand,
old.
and
she had
it went
tangled
sliding
brown
across
hair
the floor,
and wore dirty
the other
clothes
two
that were
men
too
rushed
big
at
for
her. But
She
she
was
was
eating
ready.
crackers from a
Within
box
seconds,
she must have
all
stolen
three
from his
men
kitchen.
were on the ground.
When she saw Marcus,
groaning in
she
pain.
didn't run.
Marcus
She didn't
stared
scream.
with his mouth open.
She just looked
Who
at
is
him
this
with
woman?
big, tired
Diana picked
eyes
up the
and
gun
said,
and pointed
"Please
it at
don't
the
send
men.
me away.
Leave.
Marcus felt
Now.
like his brain
And
had
tell your
stopped
boss
working.
that the Hart family
How did
doesn't
a child
scare
get
easily.
into his house?
The three
How
men
long had she
scrambled
been
down
living
the
in his
stairs
bedroom?
and ran out of the
Why
house.
hadn't his security
Diana
caught
watched
her?
them go.
Who are you?
Then turned to
Marcus
Marcus.
asked.
You must
trying to
be
keep
Marcus
his voice
Chen.
calm,
Thank
even though
you
his
for
heart
protecting
was
my
beating like a
granddaughter.
drum.
My name
How
is
did
Ruby.
you know she was here?
The girl said
Marcus
quietly.
asked.
I've been living here
searching for Ruby
for 3 weeks. I'm really
When
good
her
at
aunt
hiding.
abandoned her.
I
I
only
didn't
come
know.
out when you're asleep.
By
the time I found
3
out,
weeks. Ruby had
Marcus
disappeared.
couldn't believe it.
I've been
How is
tracking
that
her
possible?
ever since. Ruby
I
looked down
saw
at
her
her
climb into your
crackers.
window one night.
I'm small,
but I wanted
I
to
can
make sure
fit
she
in
was
places
safe grown-ups
before I
don't
approached.
look. I've been
Behind the
watching the
curtains.
house. Under the bed.
Why didn't you just take
inside
her?
the big closet?
Marcus asked.
I was really
Because Ruby
careful.
doesn't know me.
Marcus should have
Diana
been
said
angry.
sadly.
He should
Her
have
mother
called
and
security
I had a
right
fight
away.
years ago,
but something
a
stopped
stupid
him.
fight about
Maybe it was the
nothing
way
important.
Ruby looked at him.
We stopped
like she
speaking.
expected him to
When my
hurt her,
daughter died,
but was hoping
Ruby
he
didn't
wouldn't.
even know I
Why are
existed.
you here?
I wanted to
Find
find the
Marcus
right
asked,
moment to tell
sitting
her.
down on his
But
bed.
then those men
Keeping his
started
distance,
hunting her,
so
and
he wouldn't
everything
scare
got
her.
complicated.
Where are your parents?
The closet door opened
Ruby's
slowly.
eyes filled with
Ruby
tears,
peeked out,
but she
her
didn't let
face
them
wet
fall.
with tears.
I don't have parents
Grandma?
anymore.
Diana's
My
tough
mom died
expression
last year.
melted away.
I lived with my
Yes,
aunt after
sweetheart,
that, but she didn't
I'm your
want me.
grandma.
She
I'm
said I
so
cost
sorry
too
I
much
wasn't
money
there
for
for
you.
you.
She left
I'm
me at a
so
bus station
sorry
3
about
weeks ago
everything.
and never came
Ruby
back.
ran to Diana
Marcus
and hugged
felt
her tight.
something twist in
Both
his chest.
of them were crying now.
He knew what it was like
Marcus
to lose
felt
a mother.
tears in his
His
own
own mother
eyes
had died
watching them
when he was
but
young.
something still
but
bothered
he had
him.
money. What were
He had
those men
people who
after?
took care of him.
What secret
Ruby
did
had nothing.
Ruby's mother die
I
protecting?
saw your house on TV
Diana
once.
looked at
Ruby
Marcus
continued.
for a long moment.
They said you were the
like
richest man
she
in
was
the city.
deciding whether
I
to
thought
trust
maybe
him.
you had extra
Finally,
food.
maybe
She
you
reached
would
into
notice
Ruby's
if a little
backpack
bit went
and
missing.
pulled out the
I
photograph
didn't mean
Marcus
to steal.
had seen earlier.
I was just
She
so
handed
hungry.
it to him.
How
Marcus
did you get
looked
past
at
my
the picture,
security?
and
Marcus
his
asked.
hands started
Ruby
shaking.
smiled a tiny
In
bit.
the photo were two
There's
young
a tree
women,
outside,
both smiling.
One branch touches
One was
your window.
clearly Diana.
The lock on this
years
window
younger.
is broken.
The other woman
I
looked
climbed up
exactly
3 weeks ago,
like Ruby,
and I've been
but
here
standing
ever
next to them
since.
was someone
I'm
Marcus
sorry.
recognized.
I know it was wrong.
Someone he never expected
Marcus
to see.
stood up and walked
His
to the
own
window.
mother.
Sure
I
enough,
think it's time
when
you
he
knew
checked
the
the
truth.
lock, it was
Diana
broken.
said quietly.
He had never
Your
noticed.
mother and Ruby's
He had so many
mother were
windows,
best
so
friends.
many rooms,
And
this
before your mother
mansion was
died,
so big
she
that
gave
a little girl
Ruby's
could live in
mother
it for
something
weeks
to protect.
without anyone
Something
knowing.
that powerful
He turned
people
back to look at
would kill
Ruby
to possess.
She was watching him
and
carefully,
now those people think
ready to
Ruby
run
knows
if he
where it
made
is.
any sudden moves.
Marcus
In
felt
that
like
moment,
the floor
Marcus
was
saw himself
falling away beneath his
not
feet.
the rich,
My mother,
powerful man.
what did
he had
she
become.
have?
But
Diana
the scared
sat
little
down on
boy
the
he
stairs,
used to be,
looking
the boy
suddenly
who lost
tired.
his mother.
Ruby
and
sat
felt
next to
alone
her,
in a world
holding
that
her
didn't
hand
care.
tight.
Are you going
Your
to
mother
call the
worked
police?
as a nurse at
Ruby
a big
asked,
hospital.
her voice
One
small
night,
and
she was
afraid.
taking care
Marcus
of
took
a
a deep
very
breath.
important man.
He should call
a man
someone.
named Victor
Child
Stone.
Services.
You've probably heard of
police.
him.
Someone
Marcus
who knew
had
how to handle
definitely heard of
situations
Victor
like
Stone.
this.
Everyone
But when
had.
he opened his mouth,
He was one of the
different
richest,
words
most
came out.
powerful men
Are you
in the
hungry?
world.
Really
He owned
hungry,
newspapers, TV
not
stations,
just crackers,
and half the politicians
Ruby
in the
nodded
country.
slowly.
People
Not
were
sure
afraid
if
of
this
him.
was a trick.
While Victor was
Then
in the
let's
hospital,
go to the kitchen.
He was talking
We'll
on
figure
the
out the
phone.
rest later.
Diana continued.
As Ruby slowly
He thought your
climbed
mother
out
wasn't
of her
paying
nest of
attention,
blankets, but
Marcus
noticed something
and she
that
heard
made
him
his
planning
blood
something
run
terrible.
cold.
He was
Sticking
going
out
to
of her
destroy
small
a
backpack
whole
was a
neighborhood
photograph
to build his new
and
company
in that
headquarters.
photograph, he saw
Thousands
a
of
face he
families would
recognized.
lose their homes.
A face from his past.
He was going to bribe judges,
a face that
threaten
changed
people,
everything,
even hurt
but
anyone
before
who
he could
stood in
say
his way.
anything. They
So,
both heard
my
it.
mother recorded
A
it?
loud bang
Marcus
from downstairs.
asked.
Diana
Then
nodded.
voices.
She used a
Angry
small
voices.
recorder. She kept
Someone
in her
else was
pocket.
in the house.
She got
and
everything.
they weren't here to talk.
Every name,
Marcus
every
grabbed
crime,
Ruby's hand.
every evil
Stay
plan.
quiet and
she
stay
knew it was
close to me,
dangerous.
he
But
whispered.
she
They
couldn't
crept
let
to the
him
bedroom
destroy
door
all
and
those
families.
Marcus peeked out into
She
the hallway.
copied the recording
He
and
could
gave
hear
it to my
heavy
daughter,
footsteps coming
Ruby's
up the stairs.
mother, for safekeeping.
More than one person.
Then she hid
the
the original
original
system
somewhere.
should have caught
Even I
this.
don't know.
Why weren't his
But
guards
my mother
responding?
died before she could
Where are
use
they?
it. Marcus
A rough
said,
voice shouted
his
from
voice
below.
breaking.
We know the
His
girl
mother
is
had
here.
died in a
We
car
tracked her to
accident
this
when he
house.
was 10.
Ruby
At least,
squeezed Marcus's
that's what he was
hand
always
so
told.
tight it hurt.
Diana's
She was
face
shaking
went
all
sad.
over.
Your
It's
mother's
them,
accident
she
wasn't an
whispered,
accident,
her voice
Marcus.
full of fear.
Victor Stone
They
found
found
out
me.
what she knew.
Who found
He had
you?
her killed.
Marcus
But he
asked
never
quietly.
found the recording.
The bad men.
He's been
The
searching
ones
for it
who
for
want what
20
my mother
years.
left me.
Marcus's
Marcus's
anger
mind
burning
was
in his
racing.
chest like
What
fire.
could a poor woman
Victor
leave
Stone
her daughter
killed
that
his
bad
mother.
men would want?
All these years,
And
he thought it
why
was
would they
just
break
bad
into
luck.
his house to get it?
Just a tragic
None of this
accident.
made sense.
But it was
Marcus
murder.
Chen,
The
and
rough
now
voice
he
called
thinks
out.
Ruby knows
We
where
don't
it
want to
is?
hurt you. Marcus
Just give us the
asked.
girl. and will
Ruby's
leave.
mother told her
This
daughter a
doesn't
story
concern
before
you,
she died,
but it did
Diana
concern him
explained.
now. Marcus
She told
didn't know
Ruby
why,
about a
but
special
the moment
treasure
he saw
that would
Ruby
help
sitting
a lot
in
of
that
people
nest of
someday.
blankets, she said it was
Something
hidden where
changed
stones
inside
live,
him,
and
she
reminded
memories
him
leave.
of himself.
Ruby thought it was just a
Alone,
fairy tale.
scared.
She doesn't
needing someone to
understand what it
care.
means.
The closet.
Ruby looked up confused.
Marcus whispered to Ruby,
I don't know where
hide
any
in there.
treasure is.
No matter what
just
happens,
remember Mommy's
don't
story.
come out until I tell you
Marcus
it's safe.
closed his eyes
But what about
and thought
you?
hard.
Ruby
Where
asked,
songs live,
tears
and memories
rolling
sleep.
down her cheeks.
His mother used to
I'll be
sing
fine.
to him every
I
night
promise.
before bed.
Now go.
She had a beautiful
Ruby
voice.
ran to the closet
and she kept
and
all her
disappeared
precious
inside.
things in one place.
Marcus took a
The
deep
music
breath
box
and stepped into
I
the hallway.
know where it is.
3 large
Marcus
men
said
in
suddenly.
black clothes stood
Follow
at
me.
the top of the stairs. One of them had a gun. Where is she? The man with the gun asked. His face was covered with scars, and his eyes were cold. There's no girl here, Marcus said, trying to sound braver than he felt. You've made a mistake. Leave now, and I won't call the police. The scarred man laughed. It was not a nice laugh. Your security guards are taking a little nap right now. And we cut your phone lines. No one is coming to help you, rich man. Now tell us where Ruby is, or things will get very unpleasant. Marcus's heart pounded. He had faced tough business deals before. He had won against powerful enemies. But he had never had a gun pointed at him. Still, he wouldn't give Ruby up. Something inside him wouldn't let him.
I don't know what you're
Diana
talking
found
about.
something in your bedroom that could
a room
destroy
he rarely
everyone
went
man
ever
nodded
built.
to the other
Made him
two.
too
Marcus
mad.
stood
On
in
the
the
shelf
hallway
of
of
his
old
giant
wooden
mansion
music
behind
box
her,
that had
staring at
belonged
his
as the
bedroom
men
door.
started toward the
He has
bedroom.
kept it all these
Marcus
years,
stepped
but
in
never
front of the
opened
door.
it.
Something
It
was
hurt
going
very
too
much.
much.
He
With
could
scarred
feel it in
man
his
walked
bones.
closer until the
Marcus
gun
listened
lifted
to
the
music
music
for
for
Marcus's
richest man in the
chest.
city.
It played a soft,
He
smooth,
owned
sweet
50
melody.
buildings, 20
The same
restaurants,
song
and
Marcus
had more
had been
money.
singing in
A
his
new
bedroom.
voice called out
The
from
same
downstairs.
song
His
tonight.
mother used to
Stop
sing.
right
None of
there.
that mattered.
He opened
Every
the
secret
secret
compartment in the
compartment.
bottom.
A woman
It
stood
stood
inside
inside
with
with
a
a small
stairs.
recording
Marcus
device wrapped
began
in
hearing strange
Marcus
sounds.
unfolded the note.
Soft
Her hair was
read his
silver,
mother's
even
handwriting.
though she didn't look
My
old.
dear
Sometimes
Marcus,
he would
something
wake
about
up
her
and
face
feel
that
like
I'm
someone
familiar
had
to
been
Marcus.
watching
I'm
him
sorry,
sleep,
I
but
couldn't
he
stay to
told
watch
himself
this grow up.
it was
Who
just
are
his
you?
imagination.
Must
Scarred
reach
man
the
demands.
police.
Rich people don't
My
get
name
scared
is
of
Diana
thousands
Hart.
of families.
The
The
woman's
sounds
terrible
got
man.
louder.
And
Use
you're
it
making a
became
terrible
clearer.
mistake.
Use it for good.
And last
The
night,
scarred
I love
man
you
he heard
forever.
something that made
Mom.
his heart
hero?
stop. Tears
This someone
streamed
was
down
singing
Marcus's
tonight.
face.
A
I'm
sweet,
not a
after
hero.
all
All
these
these
song
years,
that he
Diana
knew
said.
from
He was
long
hearing
ago.
from his mother.
The song his mother
And
used
she
to
was
sing
asking
before
him
she died.
to finish
And
what
Marcus
she lived
lived
alone.
But before anyone
Marcus
say
felt
anything
confused.
else, he had guards at
Ruby's
every
gate
gate.
exploded inward.
Ruby
Cameras
said
on
she had no
everywhere.
family left.
No
More
one
men
girl
inside
belongs
to us
to us
now.
without him knowing.
The scarred man
Yet
sat
someone
calmly
was
behind
behind
them.
them.
Mother stole something
Someone
very
was in his
valuable.
bedroom, and we're taking
He
it
pushed
back.
open the door slowly.
Diana's
I've
eyes.
waited
The room was
20
dark
years
except
for
for
my daughter
moonlight
didn't
coming
steal
through the
away.
window. His
Everything
voice
looked
looked
normal
nervous.
at first.
And
Give
give
me
me
that
that
recording
big bed
boy.
with silk sheets.
And I might
You
let
won't
you
get your
all
hands
expensive
on it.
paintings on
Marcus
the wall.
I guess we'll have to go
His
through you
golden
too.
watch on
His
the
whole body
nightstand.
was
Shaking,
shaking,
then he
not
saw
from
a
raising
fear
his
and
gun.
in the corner of his
Everything
room
happened
near the
very
window.
fast after that.
This small
Diana,
nest
this
made
man
of light
destroyed
pillows.
Ruby's family.
Faster
And
than
in
that
this
nest
man
sat
hurt
a
so
little
many
girl.
people
She
and
knocked
never
the gun
could be
for
more
the
than
son's
7 years
hand.
old.
No.
And she had
Marcus
tangled
sliding
brown
across
hair.
the floor.
And
Victor's
Victor's
eyes
other
closed
two
so
men
too
rushed
big
to
for
her.
her.
Then you'll die
But
like
she
she
was
was eating
ready.
crackers from a
Within
box.
seconds,
She must
Ruby
have
stolen
stolen
from
three
his
men
kitchen.
were on
She
the
stepped
ground
forward.
when she saw
So
Marcus
groaning, and
small
she didn't
brave.
rave.
Marcus
I
didn't
know
stare
something
with
you
his
don't
mouth
know.
open.
She just
Everyone
looked at him
looked
with
big.
big,
Diana
tired
reached
eyes
into
and
her
said,
backpack and pointed
"Please
it
don't
pulled
send
out
me
another
away.
recording
Leave.
device. Marcus felt
Now.
like his
Mommy
brain
gave
had
me this
stopped
before
working.
she
The
died.
Hart family
How did
doesn't
she
share
say
it was
getting
even
to his
more
house?
important.
The
than
three
how
men
long had
scrambled
she been
down the
living in
stairs
her
and
bedroom?
ran out of
Why
gas.
hadn't his
Marcus's mom
security
Diana
caught
watched
her?
him go.
Spent
Who are
years
you? Then turned to
investigating
Marcus,
this.
asked,
She
"You
was
must
holding
hear
his
Marcus
voice
then.
calm,
Thank
even though
you
Victor's
for
protecting my
singing like a
granddaughter.
drum.
That's
My name
how
is
did you know
Ruby.
she was here?
The
Ruby's
girl said
mother
Marcus
was a
asked.
reporter.
I've been living
searching
Diana
for
said
Ruby
proudly.
3 weeks.
One of the
I'm
best.
really
When her
good at
aunt
hiding.
abandoned
She spent
her,
years
I
building
didn't
a
know.
case
When
against you.
By the time I found
Ruby
out,
destroy that
Ruby,
first recording.
Marcus couldn't believe
This
it.
second
I've
one
been
will put
trapped
you
in
in
that
prison
prison
forever.
since.
Ruby
I
looked down
saw
Victor
her
climbed
punch
into your
forward.
window one night,
I'm
but
small,
Marcus was
but I
fast.
want
I
to make
can
sure
fit
she
and he pressed
places
a button on
where
his
I've
desk,
looked. and suddenly
I
alarm
watched
curtains.
her house.
Under the bed,
Why didn't you
sirens
just take her
inside
not
the
his
big
security
Marcus
system?
asked.
I was
Marcus
really
because
called
Ruby
your
doesn't
moment.
know me.
He found
Marcus
me
should have
there,
been
said
angry.
sadly.
Using the
He should
murder
have
mother
gotten
and I
security
had a
right
fight
away.
years ago.
Within
but
minutes,
something
a
stopped
stupid
him.
fight surrounded
Maybe it
the
was the way
house.
Ruby looked
Victor
at him.
Stone
We stopped
and
like
all
all
his
his
men
men
when
were
my
murdered.
daughter died.
But
The
was
reportings
hoping
were
you
given
even
to the
know I
police.
Why are you
Who
here? I
promised
wanted to
they
find the
Marcus
right
asked,
moment to tell
sitting
her.
down on his
But
bed.
then
As
those
the sun
men
began to
started
rise,
hunting her.
So
Marcus
he
sat
sat
on
on
the
front
front
steps
steps
with
with
Diana
Diana
and
and
closet
Ruby.
door opened.
They
They
were
were
all
all
exhausted.
exhausted.
Ruby
Tears,
peeked
but
out,
also
but
relieved.
she
Her
didn't let
face
them
fall.
fall. It was here.
Finally
I don't
over.
have parents anymore.
What happens
Diana's
now?
tough
Mom died.
expression
Marcus
melted
asked.
away.
I lived with
Ruby
my
and
aunt
I
after
will
that,
start over.
but she didn't
I'm
want
your
me.
grandma.
Diana said.
She
I'm
said, I
hugging
so
her grandma.
sorry I
Much
wasn't
money.
there for you.
We'll build
She
a
left
new
me at a
life
bus
so
station
sorry
3
about
weeks
as
ago.
a family
And never came
Ruby
back.
ran
could
to
stay
Diana
here.
and
Marcus
hugged
felt
something
something twist
suddenly.
in his
Both of them
chest.
were
The
crying
words
now.
surprised
He knew what it was
even
like to
Marcus
lose a
felt
mother.
tears
This house
in
is
his
too
own
big.
eyes.
Mother
One
had
person
died
anyway.
when he was
And
young.
something
Ruby
still
already
bothered
had
him.
money.
All the best
What were
hiding
those men
people
who
after?
took care of him?
Ruby's
What
secret
secret
did
had nothing.
Ruby's mother
I
died
saw your
tonight
house
all
on
night.
TV
Diana
once.
looked
Really?
at Marcus
Marcus
for
we
a
can
long
stay.
moment.
They said you were the
Marcus
richest
looked at
man in
his
the
little
city.
girl.
Whether
I
you had
thought
somehow
maybe you had
changed
extra
his
food.
entire life.
Maybe
She
you
reached
would
into
notice
Ruby's
back
a little
hat
bit went
and
she had
pulled
helped
out
him
the
find
photograph
Marcus
Marcus
had
mother.
seen earlier.
I was
She had
just
helped
so
him handed it
hungry.
to him.
What his mother
How did he get
Marcus
past
looked at
my
my
and she had
security.
reminded him
Marcus
that having
asked
all the money in
Ruby
the world
smiled
meant
nothing.
nothing.
In the photo were two
There's a
young
tree
women,
outside, both
Really?
smiling.
One branch
Marcus
touches
was
your
clearly
window.
Diana.
Besides, the
Someone
lock on his
years
window
ago
is
had a
broken.
climb
The other
tree
woman
and
looked
climbed
exactly
exactly 3 weeks ago.
like Ruby.
And I've
Diana
been
looked
here
standing
ever
next to
since.
them
I think
was
we can
someone
manage
Marcus
this.
recognized.
As
I
they
know
sat
it was
together
wrong
watching
he
the
never
sunrise.
expected
Marcus
to see
stood up
Marcus
and
realized
walked to
his
the
own
window.
mother.
Sure
For
enough,
20
when
years,
he
he
checked
checked
the
the
lock,
lock. He had been
it was
alone, as
Diana's
they said
house.
quietly.
He had never
Thinking
known
that
mother
money
and
and
Ruby's
his
so many
mother were
windows,
both
so
the
many
emptiness
rooms. And
inside his
before your mother
mansion was
died,
so big
she
that
gave
it
little
was
girl
Ruby's
could live in
mother
it for
connection
weeks
without
anyone
love.
something that
His
powerful
eternal
mother
back
had
to look
died
at Ruby
protecting
because
strangers.
she was watching
because
him
and now
carefully
those
in
people
doing
think
what
ready
was
to
right.
run
Knows
if he
where it
made
is.
now
Any sudden
Marcus
moves.
would live
Marcus
in
felt
that
like the
moment.
floor.
Marcus
He would
saw
use his
falling
money
away
to
beneath
help
his
people.
not the rich,
Just like his
my
mother
mother.
had.
Powerful man.
What did
and
she have?
He would have Ruby
Diana
and
sat
Diana
down by
boy
his stairs
to be
the
looking
lonely
the
boy
boy
who
who
lost his mother.
lonely
Ruby
sat
sat next to
alone
her,
in a world.
holding
Sometimes
the
the things
tight.
we find
Are you
in
going
your
to
mother
call
work
the
turn out
police?
to be
Nurse
exactly
Ruby
what
asked.
we needed
Her
all
voice
along.
small
For
and
Marcus,
afraid.
taking
That
care
thing was a little
of
girl
a
named
very
Ruby
important
who
man.
taught him
He
that
should call
being
someone
man
named
meant
Victor
child
Stone
compared to being
You've
loved.
probably
The
heard of
police.
him.
And somewhere,
Someone
Marcus
who
liked
had
how to handle
definitely heard
situations
Victor
like
Stone.
this.
Everyone
But when he
had.
opened his mouth,
He was one of the
different
richest,
words
most
came out.
powerful men
Are you
in the
hungry?
world. Really
He owned
hungry,
newspapers,
TV
not
stations,
just crackers.
and half the politicians
Ruby
in the
nodded
country.
slowly.
People
Not
were
sure
afraid
if
of
this
him.
was a trick.
While Victor was
Then
in the
let's
hospital,
go to the kitchen.
he was talking
We'll
on
figure
the
out the
phone.
rest later.
Diana continued.
As Ruby slowly
he thought your
climbed
mother
out of
wasn't
her
paying
nest of
attention,
blankets,
but she
Marcus
was.
noticed
And
something
she
that
heard
made
him
his
planning
blood
something
run
terrible.
cold.
He was
Sticking
going
out
to
of her
destroy
small
a
backpack
whole
was a
neighborhood
photograph.
to build his new
And
company
in that
headquarters.
photograph, he saw
thousands of
face he
families would
recognized.
lose their homes.
A face from his past.
He was going to bribe judges,
A face that
threaten
changed
people,
everything.
even hurt
But
anyone
before
who
he
could
stood in
say
his way,
anything. They
So,
both heard
my
it.
mother recorded
A
it.
loud bang
Marcus
from
asked.
downstairs.
Diana
Then
nodded.
voices. She used a
Angry
small
voices.
recorder. She
Someone
kept in her
else was
pocket.
in the house.
She got
and
everything.
they weren't here to talk.
Every name.
Marcus
every
grabbed
crime,
Ruby's hand.
Every evil
Stay
plan.
quiet and
she
stay
knew it was
close to me,
dangerous.
he
But
whispered.
she
They
couldn't
crept
let
to the
him
bedroom
destroy
door,
all
and
those families.
Marcus peeked out into
she
the
copied
hallway.
the recording
He
and
could
gave
hear
it to my
heavy
daughter.
footsteps coming
Ruby's
up the
mother
stairs.
for safekeeping.
More than one person.
Then she hid
His
the
security
original
system
somewhere.
should have caught
Even I
this.
don't know. Why weren't his
But
guards
my mother
responding?
died before she could
Where
use
are they?
it. Marcus
a rough
said,
voice shouted
his
from
voice
below.
breaking.
We know the
His
girl
mother
is
had
here.
died in a
We
car
tracked her to
accident
this
when he
house.
was 10.
Ruby
At least,
squeezed Marcus's
that's what he was
hand
always
so
told.
tight it hurt. Diana's
She was
face
shaking
went
all
sad.
over.
Your
It's
mother's
them,
accident
she
wasn't an
whispered,
accident,
her voice
Marcus.
full of fear.
Victor Stone
They
found
found
out
me.
what she knew.
Who found
he had
you?
her killed.
Marcus
But he
asked
never
quietly.
found the recording.
The bad men.
He's been
The
searching
ones
for it
who
for
want what
20
my mother
years.
left me.
Marcus's
Marcus's
anger
mind
burning
was
in his
racing.
chest like fire.
What could a poor woman
Victor
leave
Stone
her daughter
killed
that
his
bad
mother.
men would want?
All these years,
And he thought
why
it was
would they
just
break
bad
into
luck?
his house to get it?
Just a trick. tragic
None of this
accident.
made sense.
But it was
Marcus
murder.
Chen, the
And
rough
now
voice
he
called
thinks
out.
Ruby knows
We
where
don't want
it
to hurt
is.
you. Marcus
Just give us the
asked.
girl, and
Ruby's
we'll leave.
mother told her
This
daughter a
doesn't
story
concern
before
you.
she died,
But it did
Diana
concern him
explained.
now. Marcus
She told
didn't know
Ruby
why,
about a
but the
special
moment
treasure
he saw
that would
Ruby
help
sitting
a
in
lot
that
of people
nest
someday.
of blankets,
She said it was
something
hidden where
changed
songs
inside
live
and
and
memories
reminded
sleep.
him of himself.
Ruby thought it was just a
Alone,
fairy tale.
scared.
She doesn't
needing someone to
understand what it
care.
means.
The closet.
Ruby looked up confused.
Marcus whispered to Ruby.
I don't know where
Hide
any
in there.
treasure is.
No matter
I
what
just
happens,
remember Mommy's
don't
story.
come out until I tell you
Marcus
it's safe.
closed his eyes
But what about
and thought
you?
hard.
Ruby
Where
asked,
songs live,
tears
and memories
rolling
sleep.
down her cheeks.
His mother used to
I'll be
sing to
fine.
him every
I
night
promise.
before bed.
Now go.
She had a beautiful
Ruby
voice.
ran to the closet
and she kept
and
all her
disappeared
precious
inside.
things in one place.
Marcus took a
the
deep
music
breath
box
and stepped into
I
the
know
hallway.
where it is.
3 large
Marcus
men
said
in
suddenly.
black clothes stood
Follow
at
me.
the top of the stairs. One of them had a gun.
Where is she?
The man with the gun asked. His face was covered with scars, and his eyes were cold. There's no girl here, Marcus said, trying to sound braver than he felt. You've made a mistake. Leave now, and I won't call the police. The scarred man laughed. It was not a nice laugh. Your security guards are taking a little nap right now. And we cut your phone lines. No one is coming to help you, rich man. Now tell us where Ruby is.
or things will get very unpleasant. Marcus's heart pounded. He had faced tough business deals before. He had won against powerful enemies. But he had never had a gun pointed at him. Still, he wouldn't give Ruby up. Something inside him wouldn't let him.